Alright guys, good evening. Tonight's video is very impromptu and it's probably not going to have a lot of fancy editing or intros or outros because I decided to start filming this at 8:45 at night. So I do apologize that the lighting is not great. It is late at night and the sun sets at 5. I don't have a lot of daylight hours to work with these days in the winter, but I think that you guys will get the gist. As you saw from the title of today's video, these are 5 Middle Eastern perfumes that are not going to work for me. I want to put out the disclaimer that that doesn't mean that these are bad perfumes in the slightest. They're just not right for me. And so they're perfumes that I did include in my recent Middle Eastern perfume haul. And I actually really like the way all 5 of them smell, with the exception of one that I was kind of not sure about. But since putting them on skin, I have realized, and actually wearing them for a day, I have realized that they're definitely not going to work for me, and I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with them because I did purchase them with my own money, and Middle Eastern perfumes thankfully are not that expensive, so if I pass them on, give them away as gifts, luckily it's still right before Christmas. I will be very honest, you guys, like, as I kind of mentioned in my last video, when I compare a lot of these Middle Eastern perfumes to my designer perfumes and niche perfumes, there still is really no comparison for me. In terms of, I think, the wearability, the ease with which you can wear designer perfumes, and that they're ready to go right out of the box. You don't have to let them macerate. There can be a lot of like screechiness and a little bit of an undertone to a lot of the Middle Eastern perfumes that makes them not super likable either in the beginning or at all, in my opinion, depending on the fragrance. There's some that have been winners, don't get me wrong. And so it's not to say that I'm not enjoying Middle Eastern perfumes in general, but when I compare them to my designer and the niche perfumes I've smelled, for me, there's just no comparison. I much prefer designer and niche so far. And I do have a few perfumes coming that are niche. I believe they're all niche. Or like one of them is a high-end designer and one of them is a perfume designer, jewelry designer rather, and that would be Van Cleef & Arpels. And they are fantastic fragrances. None of them are blind except one. I ordered a 10 ml of a perfume blindly because it sounds amazing. When I was thinking about what perfumes to bring back into my collection, I was thinking about what are my favorite perfumes, like what were the best of the best, what were the ultimate, the most wow factor, my favorite of all time, and I decided to bring a couple of those back. So definitely stay tuned for that video. I'm going to be sharing that very soon. But without too much further ado, let's get on into these 5 fragrances that just are not going to work for me, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, the first one, and this is like my least favorite probably from all of the perfumes I'm going to share with you. And this is Lattafa's Yara Candy. Now this one, first of all, I used to have the original Yara, and actually I liked the way that one smelled. It was kind of like a more stronger version of an Ariana Grande perfume, and it was quite nice. And I have smelled all of the Yara perfumes in winners, and I remember thinking they all smelled very nice. I didn't really remember what this one smelled like. I got this one actually on the advice of Steven from Red Adolescence. I saw one of his videos and he just raved about this one. He said that he couldn't get enough. He thought it was so good. And I thought I would try it because it seemed like it might be a really feminine, fun, flirty, playful perfume that might be really good on a date. And I'm always down for finding a new date night perfume. You guys, this is so very synthetic. Like when I first smelled it in my perfume haul, my Middle Eastern perfume haul video, I told you guys that then that I wasn't really sure about this one. I felt like it was very sweet. This is a very candy-like fragrance. It's also very synthetic. It has like a very plasticky kind of a doll head almost note. Not in a good way though. Like I have had perfumes before that had that sort of plasticky doll head feel to them, and I don't mind them. They're very nostalgic, like Montal's Mucalat, if I'm saying it properly. That one was really incredible, and it did have that strawberry synthetic plasticky doll head feel, but it smelled expensive and very interesting and sort of almost aggressive, but not aggressive. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? When you have audacity to wear something. But anyways, it was that kind of perfume, like, you know, you wanted to be noticed and you wanted to be a little bit obnoxious. Is that the word I'm looking for? But in a good way. This to me is obnoxious, not in a good way. I put this on my skin and I actually had to wash this off. And out of these 5 perfumes I'm sharing with you, Only 2 of them were actual scrubbers, but this one I definitely had to physically wash my arm because I couldn't stand the synthetic candy-like smell. I just really can't. There's something in here I just really don't like. And I think that this is a good perfume. There's nothing wrong with it, but like objectively it's okay, but for me it is not okay. And I can see kind of where they wanted to go with it, but it smells so headachy to me, so fake, so plastic, so synthetic. It's not a nice strawberry. It's not a nice whipped cream. Like nothing about what's in here to me is pleasant to smell. And it's actually headache inducing. And you know what? I'm not upset that I don't like it because I hate the bottle. I wouldn't have wanted to put this on my shelf anyway and look at it every day. And that's another thing I will say about the like non-Middle Eastern perfumes, just designer and niche. The bottles have a much classier, pretty, elegant, feminine look to them, more delicate. This is not delicate. It looks cheap and it smells cheap to me. So I apologize if this is anyone's favorite perfume. I don't recommend this. This was one of my biggest fails from this entire Middle Eastern perfume haul. So like I said, I don't know if I will put this away somewhere, come back to it, probably not. I don't know if I will sell it, give it away. Honestly, I can't see myself ever liking this perfume. And the thing to remember about Middle Eastern perfumes is yes, they do have to macerate. Like yes, they have to mature. They have to sit somewhere and get mature, and they change over time and stuff like that. But when there's a scent that you really detest, you kind of just know, like even if it matures, even if it macerates, even if it becomes bolder, stronger, creamier, whatever, you're still not going to like it. And this is one of those perfumes for me. So the next one that is not going to work for me, and this is actually a really nice one, and I actually didn't mind wearing this one. This is Lattafa's Eclaire Pistache. So this one I feel like might be trying to dupe Kayali's Yum Pistachio Gelato, although it doesn't smell quite like pistachio gelato. This one's actually very, very nice. If you like kind of a powdery, creamy, nutty whipped cream fragrance, this one definitely goes a little bit more in the heavy, powdery, nutty aspect. It's almost like a nut butter. Like it's very, very rich. It doesn't have like the freshness and the brightness and the soapiness that Kayali's pistachio perfume had. This one I would say is like the richer, deeper, more powdery system. I do prefer Kayali's pistachio perfume to this one just because that one had a brightness about it, and it was lighter and more airy and more clean smelling and a little bit soapy, and it was just a little bit more everyday friendly for me. I liked that it had more of a balance of sort of a fresh, kind of a floral, soapy feeling, whereas this one is just very, very heavy and powdery. I do have a hard time with certain powdery perfumes. I really like powdery in terms of like iris and hedione. I do not love powdery so much in terms of tonka bean powdery, if that makes sense. If you know like the powderiness I'm talking about from like a tonka bean or a nut, that's kind of what this has. It's very it's very powdery and heavy in that way, kind of dusty almost. And I do have a hard time with some of those like dustier smelling perfumes, if that makes sense. This one's actually very lovely. It has incredible sillage, great longevity. It's beautiful. It develops nicely. It smells high quality. It smells really well done. There's nothing screechy or sharp about this. There's nothing, like it might be a little bit synthetic, but it's not as synthetic-y as the Yara Candy. This one's actually very, very well done, and I would recommend this one if you like a heavy, creamy, powdery, nutty fragrance. For me, however, I think it's just a little too nutty and a little too powdery in that direction. It's kind of like a pistachio version of Bianco Latte. And I struggled with Bianco Latte. I still sort of do. I have a love-hate with it because Bianco Latte, although it's wonderful and delicious, has that powdery tonka bean undertone that sometimes makes me a little nauseated just personally. And so this one just isn't going to work out for me. It's an incredible fragrance though, but this is not the pistachio fragrance for me. Another perfume that is not going to work for me is from Paris Corner, I believe, and this is called Kissa Pink. I'm a little bit sad about this because the bottle is so pretty and so girly and feminine and beautiful, and I would love to see this sitting on my shelf. This is how I would describe as a kind of a maybe more upscale, maybe more well-rounded version of an Ariana Grande perfume. It's very milky and lactonic, but not too lactonic. It's a little bit powdery. It's whipped creamy, it's feminine, it's girly. It's kind of giving Yara vibes, like the original Yara. It's giving Ariana Grande, the one in the pastel pink bottle, the opaque bottle. That's kind of what it smells like to me. If I was to smell this on a paper strip and didn't know what this was, I would have guessed it's one of the original Ariana Grande. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not my kind of perfume. I did wear it, and I just didn't really love wearing it. It's too maybe girly and fluffy for me, I guess. And I also have a hard time with strawberry. Strawberry is not a very easy note for me to digest and wear. I've always had a hard time with strawberry forward fragrances, and I do believe that in the top of this perfume there's strawberry milk, I think, or just strawberry. But yeah, it is very sweet, and it's very berry, and it's very pink, and it's okay, but it's not my vibe. So this is like quite lovely, and the bottle is just gorgeous. This would make a beautiful gift for somebody, and I am going to hold on to it because I'm going to probably re-gift this to somebody at some point. I don't think this one is worth keeping and letting it mature and macerate, because I don't think that even if this gets richer, even if it gets more vanilla dominant, even if it gets more creamy and luxurious and whatever, I still don't love the overall scent profile on myself enough to keep it. The next perfume that is sadly not going to work, and I'm quite disappointed, but also I'm not too disappointed, is Lattafa Musa White Intense. Now, the first reason I'm not too disappointed is because I hate the bottle. I told you guys when I first hauled this video, I really, really don't like the bottle. I'm not a fan of snakes or serpents or anything like that. And it's just a very heavy, ugly, gaudy bottle in my opinion. Like I said, a lot of the Middle Eastern perfumes do not have an elegant, pretty, feminine, dainty bottle design, and that's what I like. I like the Chanels and the Miss Diors of the world. And so this is very heavy, and I don't like the bottle. So the fact that it didn't work out, I'm not going to be sad not seeing it sitting on my shelf. This is kind of like a mix between Versace Crystal Noir, the Eau de Toilette, and Santal Complète from Fragrance Du Bois. It is a really pretty sandalwood fragrance with a little bit of coconut. It is like a little bit fresh, a little bit spicy. It smells a little bit purple. It smells cool to the touch. If it had a temperature, it would be a cool smelling fragrance. And initially when I first smelled it, I thought that it smelled closer to Versace Crystal Noir than Santal Complète. But after wearing it for a day, it reminded me very much of Santal Complète from Fragrance Du Bois. I don't know if they were trying to dupe it specifically. And Santal Complète is gorgeous. It was a really nice coconutty sandalwood fragrance. Very sultry, very date night, very classy, very elegant. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to wear this one for the same reason I couldn't wear Santal Complète. And it was just because it just kind of bothered me. I don't know. That scent profile just kind of bothered me. For some reason, I can do Versace Crystal Noir. I actually love Versace Crystal Noir. There's something about that one that is so sparkling and special and ethereal and light and vibrant and sexy and girly. And my boyfriend actually loves Versace Crystal Noir on me. So I know that when I first hauled this perfume, I told you guys, I don't think I need Versace Crystal Noir in my life because I have this one. But actually, after wearing it, getting that full experience, it really does become very sandalwoody, quite coconutty, and not in a very good way for me. That being said, I recommend this if you are looking for a Santal Complète dupe. If you like that vibe and you want to get it for less on a budget, this is actually fantastic. And I think if somebody wore this and walked past me, I would think they smelled incredible, and I would probably want to know what they were wearing, and I would probably ask them to write it down. Like, it smells beautiful. That's just what happens sometimes with perfume. A perfume can be objectively very, very good, and you can really like the way that it smells, but it's not something you want to smell all day long on yourself. It can be irritating, and it can just kind of rub you the wrong way. And you have to like your own sillage. You have to like how you smell when you step outside and you catch it on the air. It's got to be something that makes you go, I love this fragrance, not like irritated. And this one irritated me. So very well done, high quality, very good longevity, very good projection, very good lasting power. But very, very irritating to me. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. I kind of almost want to keep it just for reference in the future because it is a very high quality, good perfume to recommend. as is the Eclaire Pistache. So I may take a couple of these and just tuck them away just for the sake of having them, just for the sake of being able to compare and contrast in the future. And the last fragrance that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to keep, and I'm quite sad because I really thought this one was going to work out. This is Lattafa Her Confession. So I don't love the bottle. Again, it's big, it's gaudy, it's a lot, it's a little tacky. That's a matter of opinion. I just am not a huge fan of the bottles. This, I believe, was supposed to be a dupe of or inspired by version of Blanche Bête from Liquide Imaginaire, which I did have. I blind purchased Blanche Bête when it first came out. It was my most expensive blind buy fail of history, next to maybe Valaya from Parfum de Marly, which also didn't work out for me. But this is such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I just can't stand wearing it. This is like a tonka bean, white floral, tuberose, jasmine. I think there's coconut in here as well. It's very powdery. It's very heavy, fluffy. It's absolutely stunning, and very close to Blanche Bête from Liquide Imaginaire. I was hoping that when I wore this, it would give me a little bit more like whipped cream, jasmine, tuberose. Unfortunately, it just went so far into that powdery tonka direction, and I have a hard time with powdery tonka fragrances. Whatever the heavy tonka bean fragrance from BDK, I could not wear that one. Also, there was one from Guerlain that was very tonka heavy. I could not wear that one either. Any perfume that is just very, very tonka heavy, something about it irritates me. It's so heavy and so powdery, and it's a little nauseating. So this one was not as aggravating to me as Blanche Bête was. And Blanche Bête is beautiful, don't get me wrong. If somebody wears this and walks past me, I'm definitely going to ask them what they're wearing. I'm going to think they smell beautiful. And it does smell beautiful. Excellent sillage, excellent longevity, beautiful scent, smells expensive, smells luxurious. Like this one and the Eclaire Pistache, so well done. It makes me want to smell more from this line from Lattafa. But yeah, this one on me, I literally had to go wash my arms. I had to go scrub my arms twice during the day because I scrubbed my arm and it still didn't get it all off. And it does have a really nice scent bubble. It's very noticeable. It is going to get compliments. It is going to get noticed. And it's a really interesting, well done scent. So special. Like Blanche Bête was special, right? There's a reason it became so popular. Unfortunately, I just can't wear the scent profile. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that, because part of me wants to keep a perfume like this just to talk about it, just to promote it, just to share it, because it is so good. And this is a much more affordable version. If you're looking for Blanche Bête at a very affordable price, this is going to get you everything you want for super cheap. But yeah, I'm disappointed because I was hoping this would go in a Saks Fifth Ave from Bond 9. I was hoping it would be more bright, tuberose, creamy, but instead it went just super heavy, super powdery, super nauseating to me, a little too milky to my nose, and I just cannot wear it. So you guys, those are the 5 fragrances, the 5 Middle Eastern that are not going to work out for me. Now, there are a couple that are winners and very good, and there's quite a few that I still haven't worn. These are just the ones I have had a chance to test out since I did my haul and actually physically wear for a day. And that's one thing that I have learned, is that I cannot be hasty with fragrances. I will say overall, I'm a little disappointed in general because these perfumes should have been hits, right? And they're good perfumes. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with them, but I'm a little disappointed. And I have to say as well, what I have noticed so far is that when I blind buy niche perfumes or designer perfumes, I have a much higher success rate than when I blind buy Middle Eastern perfumes. I just think, especially with designer, they're typically more mass pleasing. They're typically, you're going to have a better chance of liking it. The other thing too, I'm like these are fine, but I'm low-key a little bit annoyed with all the dupage. Like I kind of wish that they would have done their own thing with some of them, because some of them are just so similar to what they were inspired by, like they were obviously inspired by, that it's almost a little bit annoying. Like twist it up a little bit, do something a little different, make it its own thing so that it can be special and unique. And I guess like I did tell you guys, I did say that I wanted to try new things, but I guess purchasing Middle Eastern perfumes that are obviously duping things I've already smelled, that's not really trying new things, right? So not surprising that these aren't working for me because I have already smelled most of these profiles before, and I think that's why I'm a little annoyed. But that's my own fault. I knew that going into this. But yeah, I will definitely keep you updated on all of the rest that I have. I still do have quite a number that are sitting in the basement. I'm just kind of letting them work their magic and macerate and get a little bit stronger. I will update you on them. And I do have a couple in my closet that are just already very, very good, and I've really, really enjoyed them. And I will do a video on the Middle Eastern perfumes that are working out for me as well in the future. And I also have a whole bunch of niche samples, I think like 11 samples coming from Scent Split. And they sound like they're going to be just right up my alley. I kind of decided like I definitely don't want to blind buy niche perfumes, at least not full bottles, because that's a very expensive, risky habit to get into, but I definitely want to explore more niche perfumes, and that's where samples come in. And then if you love something enough, you can get a full bottle, right? But I have to say, I definitely so far am like a little let down with my Middle Eastern experience here. But yeah, so that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this nice little impromptu Middle Eastern fail video. And I will see you all very soon in my next one. Have a great night. Bye for now.